into pulse mode. That's the pulse mode that I was describing previously. You know, as if they pulse, you know, very faint and very little, so to speak, very slow, they go very slow. If they increase the number of pulsation, it increases extremely rapidly. So the nanosecond electrostatic excitations that we are talking about, this is in order to induce self-organized plasma channels for ignition of the propulsive main discharge. While flying in Earth sky, the UFOs are using magnificent control of the highly advanced air-breathing magnetoplasma propulsion system. In other words, the pinching dense plasma-focused discharge is ignited into 1 atmosphere and driven in a pulse mode using very fast nanosecond electrostatic excitations to induce self-organized plasma channels for ignition of the propulsive main discharge. The electrical current is used to either create an opposing magnetic field or to charge a field, which can then be propelled, like in the case when some UFOs have 2 concentric cylinders and form the pinch at the end of the central cylinder. So you can see here, those are the parallel cylinders here, and the pinch is just there and there. And they used to, so when we are talking about a single one, as mentioned, is just if it wants to accelerate extremely fast, it just discharges the plasma directly behind the vehicle. But if it's parallel, it's different. And sometimes they're using 2 plasma orbs, you know, to support the system. So to extend a bit more, the so-called Z-pinch system used by some UFOs generally uses a single cylinder or a torus, which are the most common observed ones, which means like a torus type, you know, like a donut type of UFOs, which are again using this like a pulse propulsion system. And I already explained about you know, the plasma pinch system and the dense plasma focused, and how this actually plasma energy is released to produce thrust or acceleration. So I will not bother you with this. This is something which the shadow government has literally experimented, you know, with the plasma in zero gravity, which actually gave them a lot of insights, you know, how the plasma actually works, you know. And it's very similar to, and especially the vaccines, you know, and what is happening with the nanotechnology inside. In other words, the scientific community literally agreed that 160 kilos, you know, a specific gas turned into plasma is sufficient to get a smaller spacecraft from Earth orbit to the moon's orbit and back. The plasma can be accelerated before it exits the vehicle to further decrease fuel consumption and increase the thrust, as mentioned. So just for your information, during one lightning, there is around 28,000 degrees Celsius of discharge, which those actually, you know, crafts are utilizing. And as we are observing, as we are actually traveling through space, you know, those crafts are using like I call those transporters, because you see here, there are 2 beams of light. It's, there you go. So which means one goes into the sun, it picks up, you know, like a 100, 200 objects, then it shoots another beam of light, let's say to Saturn, to Jupiter, whatever, and it transports those vehicles in that direction in a very, very high and efficient way, so to speak, you know. And many of what NASA is calling comets are not comets at all. As you can see here, it goes and it changes direction, you know, completely. You can actually see it, how it changed the direction. You know, it's just magnificent what is happening. And this is another thing which is interesting to mention. They're controlling the solar system to such a degree that if there is a solar flare, which actually could be directed towards planet Earth, there is a blockage which appears like a cylindrical type of object which actually prevents the CME to reach planet Earth. So in other words, if they don't interfere with the natural way of how the star functions, we would be hit by the CME a million times so far. So in other words, what they are doing, literally, so I will not bother you much because I'm out of time, so to speak. You know, this is from June 2nd, 2022, just recently, so to speak. And it actually speaks, it was taken by the LASCO C2. And literally, as the CME started to appear towards Earth, there was an object literally that blocked the appearance. So it cut the CME here and just it allowed, you know, to pass further. So in other words, this is again another example from 2003, because I have millions probably of files and photos, you know, in the last 35 years. So from the old time before the censoring, so to speak, of the internet, where it's showing exactly the same method, you know, and it's a huge traffic around them. Area 51. So it's a place of controversy, but this is something, I'm not into entertainment much, you know, but there is one thing which I wanna literally share with you. So it says the team at Fact or Faked set up camp with cameras at Area 51. That night they filmed lights on Area 51 runway light up. Then a UFO appears at astonishing speed, then the lights switch off, all the while being watched by security. So let me just show you just small fragment to see what exactly are we up to. So let me just see. Is this the one or this one? All right, let's see this one. So there, Area 51, and the security is there, and something literally will come out. But look, that's the Area 51, the runway. It lights up in 1 second, and it just, whoo, it's fully light on. And then all of a sudden, what I'm trying to say, we still are led to believe that they are testing, you know, the conventional aircraft out there. But that was a long time ago. Now the technology is so advanced, they literally, as that engineer said, we can take the ET back home, so to speak. It's very difficult nowadays to determine what is the UFO, real UFO that belongs to the extraterrestrial craft, and what is the shadow government back engineered technology. As we can see, they light up the entire runway to signalize where the position is from space for some reason. The object enters the atmosphere and they shut down everything. So which means they're experimenting with a lot of how should I put it, anyway, let's go back because I really have to finish this. Just bear with me. So as we can see, that the runway that literally light up completely, and the object that literally was filmed. But this is the same object, very similar to one which the shadow government is also using, and we can see it also with this example here. Sorry about that. Didn't realize that it's like that. Just 1 second. Display settings, duplicate slides. There we go. Apologize for that. Okay. So we can see here. It's just leaving the trail, the same one. So they are using literally to surveil all around, you know, the planet. And the Russians are in a very similar position, because now, what was the scary part is that while CIA and ex-KGB were conflicted, they were trying to acquire more alien technology, you know, to be better. And then the China came into the game. So now we have Russia, China, and US as the three main leading forces. But the scary part is that they have joined forces. They are no longer working against each other. There is a shadow government, or they call themselves the community, which operates through the Freemasonry, which is transforming this world. And they are promising the Freemasons and the elected politicians that they will be the privileged one. But what they don't understand, that as soon as they are done with the general population, the Freemasons, the politicians are next on the list, because the elite doesn't want middle players. And by literally giving them millions of dollars, they think that if they put the money in their pockets, they will be happy and they will have a happy life. They are destroying the future of our children and our grandchildren. That's why we need to step up and hold those people responsible. Anyway, while they are spraying us, majority of people is literally entertained into sports and things which are not, doesn't matter that much. But there is a technology which actually exists, and this is literally captured in Western Sydney on August 20. It's a UFO that actually was flying through, but it's ejecting something. Do you know what that means? During the so-called conflict in Ukraine, President Putin and Klaus Schwab from World Economic Forum, they were shaking hands. 99 of the conflicts or the wars around the planet in the general history, they're all orchestrated. There is no two sides. It's just the winners that are getting the profit and the general population which is dying. The dream of depopulation, so to speak. So they have the technology already. I already show you the Area 51 footage just to give you just one small glimpse of what they have in the possession already. And it is our ignorance and stupidity that we are allowing this to happen. We have to get this across. They control the media, they control the internet. You can't post on Facebook anymore, you can't post on YouTube anymore, on Google. Google, I will show in the second part, it's all owned by the Freemasons. Sydney Freemasons here in Sydney, I know where they are and what they're doing. All the politicians that we are actually blaming, this is responsible for this, for that, they don't make the decisions. And they're spraying on us. The graphene inside those chemtrails are going into our lungs of our kids, grandkids. They are actually achieving the transhumanism that they're after.
What's in the chemtrails?
We'll cover that one. We'll cover that one. Let me just quickly go back just to explain how much time, Marie? Okay. Alrighty. Anyway, I will just be quick with this. I just want to show you a few things which are important. So as we can see, as the years progress, the UFO sightings started to appear, frequently, more and more. So the lights which are coming and observing us in every major city, we can see every night, the activity is there. Literally, they're flashing, they're using a different propulsion system, but as you can see,